Raj. My dad's name is Raj, so I was not expecting a beautiful woman.
Oh my gosh, I love this story. This is fabulous. Well, welcome to the Anoki Uncensored show. We talk about everything that's of interest within the South Asian diaspora, especially as it relates to kind of the crossover. We've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm so excited to be chatting with you, Megan. All of you guys out there, you know Megan from the famous Never Have I Ever Mindy Kaling rom-com. She is so much more than that. I've been following you and I've seen so much of the work that you've done. You have such an expansive, acting range. And it really shows in this film. This film is called It Lives Inside, and it, folks, is releasing tomorrow. I cannot wait for you to hear all about it. Megan, welcome to the show, sweetheart.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me. That was so nice. Let's hang out every day.
Oh my gosh. I'm so about the affirmations. It's all about how we feel about ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And now that I am, your father's name other person, I want to share with you something. You have kind of decided that you wanted to do this very kind of out of the box film when it comes to our culture. There aren't that many Hollywood movies that are made on the South Asian sphere when it comes to horror. Tell me why you decided that this was a film that you wanted to partake in.
I mean, I think you literally just answered it for me. It was because it's not been done before. Aside from me being a huge horror fan myself and having some horror film aspirations, that was absolutely the allure. Was, wow, this isn't, a side character. This is a story based around this character, and there's so many elements woven throughout the themes of this movie that I felt like I could directly relate to, or that were super personal and that I've lived through personally already. Mm-hmm. So those were all factors into why I wanted to do this. And I'm so incredibly grateful that our people at Neon and QC and Bishel thought that, I was the person to do that. I'm so incredibly grateful. And I don't take it for granted, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because it's quite a layered horror film. I'm a huge Indian horror film supporter. I have been watching them. I watch them on all of the streaming platforms. And the reason I feel that they're more scary than normal horror movies is India itself is such an ancient country. It's such an old country that you feel that stories from our diaspora could be real. They could actually be real. And I find this feeling with this film. Like the story goes back into some of the religious context. As soon as you connect religion and old cultures, right, there's this sense that, oh my God, has this actually ever really happened? And that's a big part of the horror dynamic in this film. You want to share your thoughts there? It's kind of like it's more scary because it's happening, from the Indian culture.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just changed my entire perspective on it. I never thought of it like that. And now I'm actually freaked out. Just that, you saying how ancient India is. Yeah. I mean, Tamil is one of the oldest languages in the world. And so I can't imagine, the stuff that our people have seen.
Yes.
Suddenly I'm no longer a horror fan. I'm like, do we need to make a part two? I don't know if I'm trying to revisit this. No, but that is, and those are the stories. I didn't necessarily grow up hearing about the Pishash in particular, but I certainly, it was a ploy and a tactic used by my parents to make me go to sleep. It was, yes. And it worked. And it worked. And when I was living in India, my grandma told me stories about encountering actual ghosts, mm-hmm. and that freaking me out as well. So yeah, I think that, and that's what also is what's so interesting about telling these stories is that there are, and this is just one of them that we've, dived into.
Absolutely. And, watching it, I kind of feel like the producers brought in a DEI expert to get kind of the prayers and the offerings and all of that correct. And do you know anything about that? Did they bring in people to get that part right? Because it really felt right.
I'm sure they did. Just from my own point of view, like I do actually speak Hindi, and
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I definitely could. I mean, you give me a word to say, and if it's not Hindi, then I'll know something's not up or something is up. And I was happy to correct on days of, even when I didn't necessarily have to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bishul was very. I mean, Bishul is an incredibly detail oriented director, and so there was no stone that was left unturned. He definitely made sure to cover all of his bases and make sure that everything was as accurate as possible, while also um, remaining true to the stories that he heard and the legends that he heard growing up.
Absolutely. What is the overarching theme? It's such a layered horror film. What would you tell people if you were to kind of encapsulate it in a sentence?
Wow. I First of all, I just can't even do that because I'm terrible at synthesizing my own thoughts. That's why I just do better when I'm reading them and they're written for me. Which is also why we should pay writers. But anyways, yeah, and to your point, there are so many layers in this movie that it's almost even
Mm,
hard to just come up with one theme, which is what I think audiences will be able to take away when they do watch this, is
yeah,
able to pick up so many different um, lessons or topics of discussion, and that's what's super gratifying as an actor when you get to work on a project like this, is that you can have discussions about the film afterwards. So I'm
absolutely.
excited to see what audiences take away from it and what relativity they can find within these themes.
I have to share with you that, my feeling when I watched the film, other than the fact that I thought it was fantastic and they really did capture the horror. And because when you tell a story that feels genuinely authentic, it's even kind of times 10 scary, right? And they did that with this film. The other aspect is just connecting the dots between, the cultures, the external culture, the society they lived in, versus kind of the culture that was inherent in the home, and then just the disparity between the generations and how this horror story actually brought the two generations, meaning you and your mom, together. It was pretty fabulous, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you hear my dad yelling in the back, by the way, it's because my dog just ran upstairs.
That's okay.
Dad Raj is yelling at my dog. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's another reason why this script was so interesting, was that it's so much more beyond just your sort of typical horror movie. There are so many. I mean, Bishul early on into the process described this movie to me as a drama movie with horror elements. And I think that really shows, because we see the relationships that Sam has with each character, and they're all so different yet very specific. And even just exploring the mother-daughter relationship, but even the father-daughter relationship, which has been such a beautiful thing to portray, because we don't ever see that, right? We don't ever see a friendly, jokingly, lovingly, playful father-daughter Indian relationship. So that was also super cool, because that's more resemblant of the relationship that I have with my actual dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of tropes that I feel like we've broken, but also we get to cover in this movie.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, because I know that our time is up, I love the beautiful relationship and connection between your character and her best friend that
Absolutely.
came full circle. I think that was beautifully woven in. I think it speaks a lot to kind of, relationships on a teenage level as well. It kind of, because those can be complicated. We've all been through them. They're all hard to navigate through, between, having genuine friendship and speaking to kind of the pop cultural, being cool. And I feel that was also nicely layered into the story as well. It was really great from that perspective.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's the classic case of wanting to be seen and then actually feeling seen. And you do that.
You absolutely encapsulated it beautifully, Megan. I wish you so much success with this film, but I also wish you so much success with everything you do, because you are doing, things that are very, widespread in your career? Like from a young age, you are kind of, it seems like you're being very meaningful in terms of what you decide to pick. And I love that we as South Asians have the option to be able to almost pick, dare I say, that we've entered that era.
Absolutely. I mean, that's certainly the goal. So thank you so much for saying that. That's really kind. And also, I just love your energy. Like, let's just be friends.
Oh my God, I would absolutely love that, sweetheart. I will DM you on Instagram for sure.
Please do.
I wish you so much success with the film. Guys, you got to go out and support this film. You got to go support my girl, Megan. I am going to close this out for you guys to just check out the official trailer. Spoiler alert, it is spooky. It's Thank you, my love.
Thank you so much, Roger. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
When Tamir and I were kids, my mom used to tell us stories. The ayah said never to sleep with a bad feeling in our hearts, because there's a dark thing that feeds on those feelings.
What is the deal with Tamira? Is she doing all right?
My stomach drops every time she appears out of thin air like that.
There's something in here. You can't see it. But it lives inside. Don't you hear it? You let it out. It needs to tenderize the soul by attacking your sanity, isolating you from those who love you. And if anyone tries to help you, it will hurt them.
Why are you whispering?
It's listening. It's called the Pishash. It doesn't kill you right away. It eats you slowly. When it's ready, it eats your soul.